everybody, welcome to the show. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is Raising A to Z and my name is Amanda. I am a teacher turned homeschool mom, and here at Raising A to Z we talk all things homeschooling. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things, which is building family traditions and the importance of family traditions, especially when you're a homeschooler. So I think it's safe to say that pretty much everybody out there has traditions of some kind, whether it is how you celebrate a holiday or a special event. Everyone has some kind of tradition, right? Like some of them are even like culturally ingrained into us, right? But what a lot of parents don't think about is how you can build more traditions into your home and into your family, the benefits of those, and especially some of the benefits when it comes to homeschooling. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about traditions. I love traditions. It is one of my weird quirks. I love knowing everything about a tradition. I love knowing like what other people do for different holidays. I like to know like how they do it, why they do it, and if it's like a cultural thing, what is like the history behind certain traditions. Maybe it's the history major part of me, but it's a thing that I just love. That and names. I do the same thing with like names, why people name their babies certain names and the meaning behind names. But anyway, that's not on topic at all. But I do love, I love traditions. I think they are so important in establishing family bonds and family life. And I think they can be so helpful for yourself as a homeschool mom or dad. And I think they can be so helpful as an important part of your family and how they make your life easier. I'm going to talk about that. Traditions can make your life easier. But before we get into that, why don't you guys take a second to subscribe and click the bell if you like the kind of videos that I make. And at the end, if you like this video or you think this is a great topic, make sure that you give us a thumbs up at the end because that really helps me out in the whole YouTube world. So thank you so much. The reason I love traditions is because it kind of falls into like two goals that I have as a homeschool parent and as a mom in general. One of my first goals as a parent is that I wanted to be very intentional and to build very strong family bonds and a very strong family culture. That was a very intentional thing that I sought to do. It was a really important thing for not only myself, but my husband. And that was like a very important goal, and it still is a very important goal in our family life. The other goal I have as a parent, and in particular as a homeschool mom, is to kind of make life and learning fun. And one of the simplest ways and easiest ways to do that is through traditions. And then the nice side benefit of all of that is that having traditions actually makes my life a little bit easier. Yes, I will talk about that. I promise. I'm getting there. If you're just starting out, you guys don't have a lot of family traditions, if you're trying to figure out how to incorporate more or you want to learn more about traditions, there's a great book out there. It's called The Memory Making Mom by Jessica Smart. I'll put a link below if you guys are interested. And she has this whole book about building traditions and the importance of traditions and how that actually is really important to family bonds and mom culture and all that kind of stuff. So link below. So let's talk a little bit about some of the benefits of family traditions. Like I said, I think one of the biggest benefits is having regular routine family traditions builds a really strong family bond, and it also builds a very strong family culture. So whether you are a homeschool parent or not, I think having family traditions should be one of the most important things you have. It should be such an integrated part of your life because that's one of the greatest and simplest ways to really build strong family connections. Traditions play such a huge role in establishing our family culture and like how we're going to do so many things in our life. Everything from how we're going to celebrate a birthday, that's kind of been established, how we're going to do different holidays, what kind of celebrations are going to be taking place, what activities take place at those holidays, how we celebrate milestones. All those things work together, and those all come out of family traditions. Those are all traditions that we have either collected from our parents or that we have decided to integrate into our home from reading about them. And it's the little things that happen on a regular basis, whether it is every year or every month or every week, that our kids start to connect with. It's those little ideas that they look forward to the next time it happens. That's the magic of a tradition. It doesn't have to be a crazy, expensive, big thing. It's just the little thing that happens on a regular, repeated kind of loop. That's what makes it so magical, is because it doesn't happen regularly and you have these little moments. I also find it really helps establish the importance of family time. And because we have these traditions, we make it a point that every year we're going to do these things. So every year we are going to go to the pumpkin patch. That is not an easy thing always for us to do. Sometimes it takes a little bit of finagling and a little bit of trying to figure things out and figure out what weekend we're going to go. And yes, there's a little bit of like work into going, but that becomes such an integral part of our fall, is that every fall we are at the pumpkin patch. We are going to go, we're going to do the pumpkin patch and the corn maze and the tractor ride. And that has become something that we have established. And that becomes a family time. It is like something that Stefan and I and the girls, we're gonna go do every single year. And we're gonna go as a family unit. So that is something that it protects our family time. So sometimes, you know, especially for us, you know, being Canadian, October is really busy. Like we have Thanksgiving and then we have 2 weeks later, we have Halloween. It is a really busy kind of month with a lot of holidays and activities. So it's really easy to miss family time. But by making sure that this is something we do every year, it's making sure that we prioritize our family and our family time in what is generally a really busy season. The other thing that having traditions does is it can make learning and life fun, just by the simplicity of it and the fact that it's something that we get to do on a regular basis. For example, if you've been following along with us, if you follow us on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, you know that we love a really good tea party. We do poetry tea pretty much every Friday. It is part of our family tradition. In fact, Stefan, we've actually pushed it back a little bit and he rushes home as soon as school's over. He rushes home so that he can come from work and join us for tea time. It's become something that we look forward to, and it's not a complicated thing. It's a very simple thing that like in the morning we make some kind of dessert or snack or treat or whatever, and then in the afternoon we sit down, we have iced tea in a teacup and read some poetry or a book of some kind, and we sit around and we discuss it. And it's become this weird thing where like it's one of the girls' favorite highlights of the week is like, oh, we're going to do tea times this week. Oh, are we doing tea time? Like they're so excited to do tea time with us. And they don't even realize that we're sitting around doing read alouds, talking about literature, discussing poetry. And it's just so educational, but it's so simple. And it's so much fun that they don't even realize that it's a lesson and that they're learning from it. In fact, and as we go, obviously the traditions can grow and change, because like recently Alexia started just this past week, she decided she was going to bring some of her work and share some of her work at our tea time. So it becomes these like times of sharing and connecting all around like literature and poetry and reading. And that's kind of really cool, right? That, you know, you're doing basically a lesson. There's some learning that's happening, but the kids don't feel like it's learning. And that's one of the goals that, like I said, I had, that I wanted to make sure that life and learning were fun for my kids. And having these little traditions really helps do that. That's just something that we know is gonna happen, and it's become a tradition that they look forward to every week. And if we happen to skip it, for example, during the summer, we missed a couple because of, you know, events and life and summer life and all that. And Alexia was like, Mom, it's been 3 weeks since we've had a tea party. We need to have a tea party this week. Like, why haven't we had a tea party? Mom, we need to have a tea party. And so they start to look forward to it, and it starts to become like this thing that it's just like a little, like I said, again, it's a little family time, but also now we've started incorporating learning and reading and all these things into our tea time. And that's really cool too. And because it's such like a simple thing that we do so regularly, it doesn't cost a fortune. Like we don't, you know what I mean? Like I think that's the other great thing about traditions is it's something about using something simple and doing it on this like regular routine basis, that it doesn't have to be complicated. Us sitting down with a carton of iced tea and some cookies we baked is not an expensive thing. It is not a crazy, like it doesn't cost us a fortune. And yet, like I said, it is one of their favorite parts of the week. So yeah, it's fantastic. And of course, like I was saying, I find that having traditions makes my life easier. Hear me out. Yes, there's a little bit of work that goes into making traditions and establishing traditions. Yes, it does take us work to get to the pumpkin patch and everything like that. But when it comes to the weekly things, I find that it just makes my life easier because I already know what's going to happen. There's a certain level of predictability that just makes my life easier. For example, We do waffles on Wednesdays and we do pizza on Fridays. That is like, those are like hard and fast rules in our house that we've established. Those are traditions that we have. We do waffle Wednesdays and we do pizza and movie night on Fridays. And the nice thing is those are 2 days I don't need to think about. That's 2 meals I don't need to think about. I know automatically when I'm thinking about, okay, what are we having for dinner? Oh, I don't need to worry about Friday because Friday is the day we have pizza. That is something that we do. I know that we're having pizza. Yes, I have to make the pizza, you know, because of Alexi's food sensitivities and stuff. I make the pizza from scratch. But I know that that's one thing I don't need to think about, right? So I don't need to think about what we're doing on a Friday afternoon. I know we're having tea time. I don't need to think about what to serve for breakfast on Wednesday. We're having waffles. It just takes out some of the like thought processes of what it takes out the mental clutter of what I need to consider and remember and do, because it's kind of these simple, predictable routines. But some of those simple, predictable routines are what become your traditions, right? And the same thing applies when it comes to holidays. We have learned and kind of established how we're going to celebrate holidays. And sometimes they change because, you know, they have to. It gives us an idea of how we're going to celebrate these holidays too. Like we already know what to expect when these holidays come up. I don't need to like figure like, hey, what are we doing? How are we going to be doing gingerbread houses this Christmas? I know we're doing gingerbread houses this Christmas. It's going to happen. We just need to figure out what day it's happening. Are we going to decorate pumpkins or are we going to carve them? It's already been established. It's already set in our family traditions. And that means that's one less thing I need to think about. What are some of the different kinds of traditions you could think about including in your family? So let's kind of talk about some of them. So I like to break them down. I have weekly traditions. So these are things, like I said, like Waffle Wednesday, our pizza movie night. We actually do something called Fun Day Friday. So on Fridays, we don't do any workbooks and we do like art or nature or science in the morning. And then in the afternoon, we do tea time and then we have pizza for dinner and a movie night. That's Fridays. That's our Friday every week. It's established. That's how we do Fridays. Other things that you could do movie nights or game nights, having special meals on certain days. I know some people who, you know, do tacos on Tuesdays. That's like a staple in their family. Or I know someone who does chicken soup every Thursday. Like those are things that they have worked into their family and that's kind of like their weekly routine. Those are things that they prioritize in their family pretty much no matter what. The other thing that you can think about are like annual events, things that happen every year. There are things like milestones and celebrations. How are you going to celebrate kids' birthdays? For us, we did this one year and apparently I have to do it every year now. And it's super easy. We just tape streamers across the kid's door. So it makes like a curtain of streamers. For the $1 it cost me to do the streamers, my kids think it is the greatest thing that we've ever done. And they request it every time it is someone's birthday. And apparently that is one of the ways we do birthdays now. It is cheap, it's simple, and they get excited about it. Like we said, we have the pumpkin patch. That's something that we do every fall, right? That is an event that we make a priority of doing. Another thing that we do is like we make a big deal out of the first day of school. I have an entire video on different traditions that you can do on the first day of school and first day of homeschooling. We'll put that link up here. We've made a point of establishing what some of those traditions are. And even though we're only a couple years into homeschooling, our kids are already like, they already know what to expect. So when it comes to first day of school, our kids already know that we are going out somewhere, that we are going to have a present, which is all their curriculum and stuff in there in a bag. They know they're getting bacon because apparently that's the most important part of the first day of school is getting bacon. They know, they've already figured out that this is what we're doing, this is how it's going, and they look forward to it every year. They actually start a couple weeks before we like do our back to school day and they're already asking when we're doing these things. And then you get into your events, which are like your holidays, your kind of more major celebrations. And yes, we all have, you know, for example, at Christmas, I'm sure most people who celebrate Christmas are going to do, you know, presents under the tree and Santa or some version of that. Like that's what they're going to be doing. But it's all the little things that go before that we especially really focus on. So one of the things that our kids are obsessed with is having a picnic under the Christmas tree. And it is exactly what it sounds. We put a blanket next to our Christmas tree. I put out a tray of crackers and cheese and lunch meats and little vegetable crudités. And we eat sitting on the floor next to the Christmas tree. Does that sound exciting? No, but apparently that is the most exciting thing we have ever done with our kids. And we did it when Alexi was like a year old, and she remembered it the next year. And we've done it ever since. And it is literally, they start asking right after Halloween, when can we do that? Like literally. Last year they started asking on November 1st, when can we have a Christmas tree picnic under the Christmas tree? The day we put the Christmas tree up, they said, can we do it today? I said, no, because we're not ready. I was not planning on doing that. But they start like that. That's a simple tradition. It's easy, it's cost effective, but they think it is the greatest thing. And that, I think, is the magic of traditions. It makes little things seem so exciting and so special and so magical that's what builds your family culture, right? It builds these traditions and these bonds with your family, that this is something special we do. And it doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be expensive. It's just something that you guys do together. Like I said, I think traditions are super important for any family. I think they're super great for homeschooling families because you have more time. You're with your kids more, so you have more time to do some of these traditions and to build these traditions into your routine and into your lives. You have more opportunities to make these traditions kind of, like I said, be more educational or connect with our kids and connect learning with their lives. And you have more opportunities to do that because you're just with your kids more. And that's one of the great benefits of homeschooling, is you can really focus on building your family culture and traditions because you have that extra time with them. And I think they're going to appreciate it when they get older. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have cool traditions that you want to share, please leave them below. Like I said, I'm obsessed with traditions. I want to know all about them. Leave them below because I think it's fun. If you guys like this video, like I said, please subscribe, click the bell, give us a thumbs up, and make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and you can see some of the cool traditions that we do on a regular basis. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.